Hello student, welcome back to the poem Vocation by Rabindranath Tagore. Here in this module, I'll do the explanation of the poem. So listen me carefully. When the gong sounds 10 in the morning and I walk to school by our lane, every day I meet a hawker crying bangles, crystal bangles. Students, this is a wonderful poem which describes the innocent wishes of a young boy who yearns for freedom from the rules of daily life. In this poem, as I told you in my first module also, the speaker is a little boy. And here in these 4 lines, he tells that when the gong struck, gong means a metal bell, and made a sound to declare the first part of the day, it was 10 o'clock. He tells that this was also the time for him to go to the school, and on his way to school, he used to watch a hawker. Hawker means a salesman, or you can say the vendor, who would shout bangles, crystal bangles to sell his bangles. So, crystal here means glass bangles. Stanza. There is nothing to hurry him on. There is no road he must take, no place he must go to, no time when he must come home. So, here this child expresses that while looking at him, he says that he thought that the vendor or the hawker was free. He was in no hurry to reach anywhere, unlike the child who had to reach his school on the time and come back home. He thought that the Bengal seller was free of any time constraints, means time restriction. Place boundation means he was free to move to any place, unlike him. He felt as if he was under strict observation, and the vendor, or you can say the hawker, was enjoying complete freedom. I wish I were a hawker, spending my day in the road, crying bangles, crystal bangles. So, this child, the young child, he was so impressed by his freedom, by hawker's freedom, that he wished to be a hawker. He wished to move freely and shout just like him in the streets. So, students, here in this first part, this young child wants to become a hawker. He wants to enjoy the freedom of the hawker. Now in the next part, when at the 4 in the afternoon I come back from the school, I can see through the gate of that house the gardener digging the ground. In these lines, we are told that the child, after coming back from the school at 4 in the afternoon, noticed, or you can say he loved to see the gardener through the gate of the house, or you can say that he would peep out and notice him digging the soil. Digging means making the soil with hands or tools. He does what he likes with his spade. He soils his clothes with dust. Nobody takes him to task. If he gets baked in the sun or gets wet, I wish I were a gardener, digging away at the gardener with nobody to stop me from digging. So students, here in these lines we are told that this little child wished to become a gardener who would like to work with spade. Spade means a sharp-edged tool used for digging and cutting. We are told that the child was so attracted by his freedom, by the freedom of the gardener, and the way he worked in the soil, and there is no one who can stop him, even if he gets baked in the sun, means get excessive exposure in the sun, or gets wet with sweat. So completely unaware of the hardship of that worker, of that gardener, the child desired to become a gardener. The next stanza. Just as it gets dark in the evening, My mother sends me to the bed. I can see through my open window the watchman walking up and down. The lane is dark and lonely, and the street lamp stands like a giant with one red eye in its head. So, students, here we are told that at night, when Speaker's mother sent him to sleep, he liked to see the watchman through the open window of his room, who keeps on walking up and down. Up and down means to move back and forth from one side to another in the dark and lonely street with a lamp in his hand, which looked like a giant. Giant means a superhuman with a red eye in his head. The watchman swings his lanterns with walks with his shadow at his side and never once goes to bed in his life. So here we are told that the speaker is resentful that he has to go to the bed. He thinks that the watchman never goes to the bed in his life. Swing means to move from one side to another. Last lines. I wish I were a watchman walking in the street all night chasing the shadows with my lanterns. In this line, we are told that the child wishes to become a watchman and walk up and down in the dark street at night, having fun chasing the shadow. Chasing means pursue or run after with his lamp. So student, this is how the explanation of this poem is over. I hope you understood it well. Let's take a recap. This poem, which is written by Rabindranath Tagore, and the speaker in the poem is a young boy who is got attracted by the freedom of the hawker, gardener and the watchman, and he also wished to become like them. Thank you. Keep learning, rise and shine.